Hello to everyone in the internet. It is currently Friday, December 7th. I am Nathan of Washington, and you are watching Culture Shock, the only show on the internet that knows how to separate an issue of culture from an issue of politics. It is currently a wonderful day. I almost said it was currently Friday, December 7th again. Anyway, this is the news. So, France is still in chaos. The riots have not stopped. In fact, they are continuing in spite of Macron making appeasement of the Yellow Jackets by scrapping the fuel hike. In fact, the riots are continuing due to other issues as well. It was more than just about fuel. It was about domestic unrest. And these things are so bad now that the Eiffel Tower has been shut down by the utter chaos of it all. And if you look at video footage, which I'm sure you can find on YouTube, BitChute, Facebook video, wherever, what we're looking at here could be a third French Revolution. Now, a revolution every now and then can be a healthy thing, sometimes. So this could be a good thing. I'm just hoping this won't end up being as bloody as the first two French revolutions. Because those things were, absolutely horrible, alright? Absolutely horrible. It would have made Joseph Stalin blush. They made his communist revolution look cute. Maybe not in terms of cruelty, but certainly in terms of scale and bloodshed. So I'm just hoping that this, what I am now calling a third French Revolution, not be as bad as the first two, hopefully. Either way, well done, Macron. You've basically destroyed France. Congratulations! God with us. Yeah. Moving on. U.S. household wealth has supposedly hit a record of $109 trillion. But if you really look at the data from more independent sources that I've referenced, there's this really annoying independent source I sometimes read. And by annoying, I mean they don't give up. They keep digging and digging and digging and getting on people's nerves. But they find and they create charts and graphs. I wouldn't be surprised if the Fed Reserve ends up giving them a call. But anyway, these guys have had pretty much proven that that it is true that the household wealth has increased. But once again, it's only benefiting the top 10% of the U.S. population. And of course, no surprise, the claim came from the Federal Reserve. I don't know what they think they're up to, telling us this nonsense. That the economy is great and wonderful, that everything's fine, wealth is increasing, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the hell they're up to. But I happen to know for a fact that the truth is we are only at the halfway point at best, and a little underneath the halfway point at worst. So our economy is hardly what I'd call wonderful. Income inequality, according to their graphs, could be comparable to Great Depression, to what it was during the Great Depression, where we're looking at an income inequality where the top 1% owns 90% of the assets, which is the same number as the entire 99% of the remaining population. Oh yeah, the rich get rich and the poor get poor, as always. But of course the Federal Reserve aren't going to tell you that. Oh no. They tend to skew numbers in their favor all the time. Because it's just a theory. I don't know this is true, but it is my hypothesis, I should say hypothesis, because it's only theory if you have evidence, but it's a hypothesis I have that the reason why they keep telling this, oh, the economy's wonderful, the economy's great, we're doing fine, is because they're trying to skew the numbers in their favor so that people don't have a cause to complain about them, so as not to cause financial unrest towards them. That's just my hypothesis, and that would certainly fit their agenda. And while we may be a wealthy nation, it is certainly a tightrope. With a boost of 100 mostly favoring the upper class, so yeah, their household wealth increases, but not the common working man. It hasn't got any easier for me and my family. Certainly not. The U.S. economy is a tightrope. We are, like I said, at best, we are on the middle ground, and at worst, we are just underneath the middle ground. Right? We're always in the red somewhere. Which, being in the red is not necessarily a bad thing in of itself. Operating in the red can actually be a good thing. Is to keep revenue coming in. But, operating too far into the red, like where there's no digging yourself out at all, and you're risking a disaster, that's what we could be looking at. So don't pay any attention to the Federal Reserve. I mean, if the world was about to end and the only way we could save it was to get the Federal Reserve to tell the truth, we would be fucked. If the world depended on them telling the truth, we would all be dead. Absolutely. A dad in Ohio recently made his daughter walk 5 miles to school for bullying. Yeah, she's about 10 years old. She's at that age where kids start to act like jerks. In my view, this is very appropriate. The reason why children that age act like jerks, though, it's not because of any genuine desire to be malignant most of the time. It's mostly done out of ignorance, right? They're not old and experienced enough to realize what they're doing is harmful as it is, right? They do it because they think that they somehow have the right, or because they think that that bullying will somehow get the other kid to behave in a way they think that they should act. It's sort of like shaming taken to an unhealthy level. This is what children do out of ignorance, not out of any genuine desire to be cruel. Some of them do it to be cruel, but a lot of them, it's just because they're ignorant of how much harm it really does. So like, they don't know any better. That's why you got to teach them. Shaming her out of this bullying behavior is a good thing. This is a good thing. He follows behind her to make sure she stays safe. Girls are more in danger than boys are still, but truth is, well, unless they're Catholic, then it's the other way around. But truth is, while it's good to shame her for her bullying, we must also acknowledge that she probably got the behavior from someone bullying her. The thing about bullying behavior is it has this weird sort of way of like spreading from kid to kid, One kid gets bullied, then starts bullying another kid. And from what I read in the article, it definitely would seem that the dad is acknowledging her problems as well, and he's dealing with that. So I'd say this guy's... If there was an award for Dad of the Year, I'd say this guy had won it, in my book. Anyway. Xavier Bettel is going to make Luxembourg the first country in the world with free public transport. This plan is to decongest traffic and to make Luxembourg a more environmentally friendly country, which, statistically speaking, it has not been in the past. It's on the upper end. You know, it's more environmentally friendly than most other countries. But Luxembourg will, you know, become even more so. I've always liked Luxembourg as far as their effect they have on the rest of the world. They are a positive influence, by and large, which is absolutely great. I mean, I wish it was a slightly bigger country, because then their influence could be even greater. But sadly, you know, it's a small place. And mind you, I still don't believe in anthropogenic global warming, but there's no questioning that we can pollute the air and make it unsafe to breathe. I mean, no one's going to question the status of Beijing or Calcutta in India. Those are two places where the air quality is so horrible. Breathing it in at all is like a serious health risk. If everyone were to just take a look at the example of Luxembourg and think, they might, you know, you can't copy the exact same thing because, you know, it's a different population size, different location, but it can still illustrate that there is a better way, and maybe you can't copy the exact same tactic, but maybe their attitude can be copied. Like maybe you can copy and paste the attitude and then find your own solutions. Luxembourg could lead by example in that way. Anyway, a call to CNN, the broadcast offices in New York of CNN, brought the NY police there, and the guy called in claiming the presence of 5 bombs in the building. You know, another bomb threat. Just like the whole Caesar Sayok incident. The NY police checked the building, and they gave the all clear shortly after. They said, all clear, all clear. You know, there weren't any bombs. So it was really just to make them pee their pants a little. Yeah, politics these days have gotten absolutely crazy. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The working class, the middle class, and the upper class, other than a few petty squabbles here and there, overall, we were able to get along with each other for the most part. But the political class, oh, you can forget it. They're always, scratching at each other like cats and dogs. They're always, bickering and fighting about something, and always holding each other back and restricting each other's power. And now I think that attitude is starting to trickle down into certain other circles a little bit. And maybe sometime in the future, if it's not, brought into a more civilized way of operating, that attitude in the political class is going to start to trickle down into the working class. And then society at large is going to become like cats and dogs before too long. It's already kind of looking that way already, with the far left snowflakes and the far right pseudo-Nazis scratching and clawing at each other. So trickle-down economics, no. Trickle-down pettiness, absolutely. Anyway. So the Temple of Satan is at it again, folks. In Illinois, they put up a statue of Eve's arm, like Eve from the Bible, the rib woman that came out of the dirt man. Her arm is up holding an apple in like a symbolic way, and a snake is wrapped around the arm. And there's a plaque on the statue that reads, "Knowledge is the greatest gift." It is currently part of the Illinois Christmas pageant display, where different religious groups that support the idea of Christmas put up statues and displays of sorts. And this was the Temple of Satan's contribution. No backlash yet that we've heard of, but I expect to hear about it very soon. I am patiently awaiting the Christian backlash that I imagine will be fairly inevitable. So I'm just waiting on that. Anyway, folks, that's it for the culture shock today. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you soon. Tschüss.